This, I think, might be our first episode that's ever come out on Christmas, so I've prepared a passage of a Christmas song for us. Hark, it's the pod, horny film pod. All the doves say these films are gay. Swim fans is cool, all types of ghoul. Never dismay. Comes out Thursday.
Oh boy! Oh,
beautiful.
We finally
welcome
have
to Swim Fans.
Finally have a Christmas theme.
Welcome to Swim Fans. It is our holiday episode. You know, I hope you're having a nice holiday. I don't know. I'm doing okay, I suppose. We hope you're doing great. As is custom every year, before we begin talking about our holiday movie, I'm gonna kick it over to our Mimi correspondent Jennifer Hawking to keep us abreast of the developments of Christmas 2025 in the world of Mariah Carey.
Yep. So start the siren. It's the Mariah Report. Okay, stop the siren. As we know, Mariah Carey, she doesn't want a lot for Christmas, right?
No.
Famously so, yeah.
This year, she extremely didn't want that much because she didn't do shit. She did a seasonal residency show in Las Vegas, which maybe a couple steps above like a residency show on a cruise ship. I'm going to be honest. This year, I really dreaded the Mariah Report because I really try to keep my eyes open for fun stuff, and just nothing was happening. And about 90 minutes before right now, I sat down to prepare the Mariah Report, and I was just so whatever about it. There was just nothing that could compare to Mariah Carey Bakes Christmas Cookies this year. Still an all-time great. If we're being vulnerable, I rewatch it more than you will ever know. I was feeling pretty down, was not feeling inspired, thought about skipping the Mariah Report. If she's not going to put in work, why should I? I thought I would just give in to the holiday blues and then just like put the report down for a year. But just before giving up, I put on All I Want for Christmas Is You, which I hear in the grocery store and walking around New York City all the time. I figured maybe, its ubiquity, it just sanded away my love for it. Listener, it's a perfect song. By the end, every bone in my body was vibrating. I felt 1,000 times better than I did. So I re-listened to it 2 more times. And by the end of the 3rd time, I was tearing up. It's beautiful. Oh, Santa could never compare. So the report goes on. She did not do much, though. She put out a pretty weak It's Time video with Josh's favorite comedian, Billy Eichner. At this point, It's Time videos are just commercials for mall brand jewelry shops. But like usually it's about the holiday season switching over from Halloween to Christmas. This year it was just about Sephora makeup. Not hating, they make a great black lipstick, but it was just that Billy Eichner, the elf, was going to steal all of Mariah Carey's makeup. Weak video, 2 out of 10. But we do have some other stuff we can talk about. Last year, between the Mariah Report and Christmas, some stuff happened. She did some sort of Netflix performance that was like for football. I watched that. It's kind of nothing to write home about. But she also became playable in Fortnite, which I was personally very angry about because when it happened. Because that's so funny, right? Like you can play as Mariah and you can shoot a gun. Like that's crazy. Of course I would want to talk about it, but I don't really play Fortnite, so I didn't buy the Mariah skin or any of like the DLC or whatever. Like you could have it play All I Want for Christmas Is You when you kill someone or whatever. I don't know. I don't play that game. But they did put out like a teaser cinematic reveal where like a CG Mariah Carey comes into this town and the seasons change from autumn to winter, which I mean this video came out in on December 22nd of last year, right? So it already been winter at that point. But it's a missed opportunity because you could actually have made a video where Mariah Carey is shooting a gun just laying waste to Tomato Town, but instead she like the end of Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle just causes everything to turn into ice. 3 out of 10. It's got CGI Mimi in it that gets you so far. So she didn't do much for in terms of like holiday Christmas stuff. But I'm sure as we all know, she had a non-Christmas album come out this year. It came out in the fall, and so she did all of her big promo stuff for that, which led to some great kind of like interview moments, including if you've ever seen the video of an interviewing asking her about Katy Perry going to space. One of the greatest things I've ever seen. She does not care. She undercuts the fake achievement that Katy Perry accomplished brilliantly. She deflects immediately. There's a moment where she says, "All right, Katie," which I have said to my girlfriend, whose name is also Katie, about 50 times since that video came out. The big thing that came out was that she did a performance at the VMAs to celebrate her winning the MTV Vanguard Award, which is apparently no longer called the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award presented by Toyota. It's actually a pretty sick performance. She's clearly not really singing. Physically, you can tell that she's lip syncing, but lip syncing aside, there is one point where she sings a Heartbreaker Honey mashup, which is exactly what you need to get my personal blood pumping. Highlight of the video, though, is, of course, when a girl playing Mariah's evil rival Bianca comes on stage, and Mariah delivers, and I mean this with like no hyperbole, no exaggeration, the worst looking fake slap I've ever seen. It's honestly, it's the whole video is 6 minutes long. It's worth it just to see her botch that so bad. There was some new music videos as well. Also, there was like a mention of Bianca in the music video, so I was like wondering, like, is this going to be like the year of Bianca now? Like, are we going to get like Christmas themed Bianca videos? Because if you want to like put Mariah Carey up against a rival, you don't fucking hire fucking Billy Eichner. You get it fucking Bianca. Clearly, that's what the lore is calling for.
Yeah, that's her Evola. You got to get her
in
in
there.
there.
No, it is. It's because in the Heartbreaker video, Bianca is played by Mariah Carey in like a darker wig. It's just her. Right. It's magical when she does it. The new album is fine. It's actually not bad. It's not as good as Caution, her previous album, but you know, what can you do? And there was a cute video of her accidentally crashing her son's Twitch stream. That one's pretty good. It's only about a minute long, and you can kind of watch him kind of get embarrassed and tell Mariah Carey to leave. Good times.
Few people could get away with such an action.
Could you imagine? That's pretty much it for the report. I hope next year is more exciting.
I feel like she, correct me if I'm wrong on my Mimi analysis. I feel like 2021 and 2022 she was going ham, and then I feel like it's been kind of a slow downhill progression 2023 24 to now. Mm-hmm. Maybe as the seasons pass, as time marches on, time's arrow flies forward, as all things do, Mimi moves in cycles. Mm-hmm. So maybe 2026 will be a big return to form.
They should hire me to write the It's Time video. I could write a sick one. I don't think you're wrong. I do think last year was bigger. Last year, there was stuff. 2 years ago and like 3 years ago, I think there was a little less. So this 2020 is when the Mariah Carey like Apple TV Christmas special came out. And then the year in 2021, they put out a video that was like she performed like 2 new Christmas songs and basically said, "Go watch last year's video." I hope we can only hope for more of that in the future.
Agreed.
Back
Mimi,
to you,
come
Josh.
Back to us. Yes, thank you, Jen. Appreciate that.
I don't know. It's the best I got this year.
Back here. Well, my favorite part was that I'm listening to "All I Want for Christmas Is You" is like doing like a rail of coke to like get yourself ready to go.
It's so good, man. Like you don't perceive the whole song when you hear it in chunks at the grocery store. If you really sit down and you listen to that song, it's just heat for like 4 minutes. It's just like her at peak execution, like the production's all there, like those bells are making it jolly as hell. It's a sick fucking song. Also, there was some kind of like pop-up Mariah Carey bar thing, but I didn't go to it because I know what those are. You're not tricking me, Mariah.
Well, I mean, because listen, you don't become the queen of Christmas by accident. You know what I mean?
God, no.
You like maybe a smaller holiday like Flag Day for sure, but for Christmas, no, you have to change culture in order to take that crown.
Yeah, she dethroned Brenda Lee, and no one has seen her since.
Spirited Away, in fact,
yeah.
after All I Want for Christmas Is You dropped. This year on the podcast, by the way, I am your co-host, Josh. The part where Cindy drags Dina around the city, that's what I do to Craig Neeson. I'm Josh McKenzie.
I've been his bottom bitch for 2 weeks. I'm Craig Neeson.
Fuck, I got nothing. Type Dangerous was pretty good. I'm Jennifer Hawking.
For our final episode of 2025, this year we are talking 2015 Sean Baker film Tangerine.
Just do it.
Okay, so if you've not seen Tangerine, this movie is about a couple of trans sex workers on Santa Monica Boulevard. Our main characters here are Cindy, who has just gotten out of jail, a month stint in jail, and her presumably closest friend, Alexandra. And what we learn right at the start is that Alexandra tells Cindy that while she was in jail, her pimp / boyfriend, Chester, was cheating on her with a cisgender woman, which is, the ultimate insult. So Cindy has gone on a tear. This is the bulk of the movie here. Cindy begins to storm down Santa Monica Boulevard, trying to interrogate who the woman is, where Chester is, and get to the bottom of this transgression. Along the way, Alexandra is handing out flyers. She has a performance tonight at Hamburger Mary's, and she has been telling everybody at the LGBT community center. She's been telling the other sex workers on the boulevard. She's been handing out flyers all over town. Everyone has heard about it. So she gets into an argument with, so Cindy storms away, and Alexandra on her own gets in an argument with a John, and after this situation, she runs into our sort of fourth character here, Rosmic, who's an Armenian cab driver. Rosmic has a wife and a family, but in his spare time, he meets up with sex workers in Santa Monica Boulevard. He and Alexandra do their business transaction. And then after that, Alexandra lets slip that Cindy is back in town, which Razmik is really excited about. He seems to have a bit of a crush on her. Importantly, Alexandra gives him a flyer for her show that night to be there. Meanwhile, Cindy has been sort of gathering clues about who this woman is. She storms into a motel, goes past a bunch of other sex workers working, finds the one that she believes is the one that Chester has been cheating on her with, named Dina, pulls her out and pulls her kind of half dressed across Los Angeles. She's taking Dina from the motel back to the donut time where Chester is supposed to be. But this whole quest has taken her so long that she's at risk of being late for Alexandra's show. So she drags Dina by the hair to Hamburger Mary's just in time for Alexandra to perform. She sings a few songs. Dina and Cindy are beefing the whole time. They smoke some crack in the bathroom. Actually, I believe it might be meth. It looks like a meth pipe. Not important, really. They do drugs in the bathroom. Doesn't matter.
Okay, how is the listener going to understand the difference now? Is it a crack high or is it a meth high? We don't know.
You're right. You're right. I'll leave.
Josh was like, you know what? I've seen a lot of crack in my day, and this looking a lot more like meth.
Anyway, so they do drugs in the bathroom. They sort of like end up through the drugs, through their mutual knowing of Chester, and then there's this sort of tender moment, kind of tender, where Cindy like sort of does Dina's makeup while they're in the bathroom. But eventually Alexandra finishes her performance, and we find out that Alexandra was actually paying Hamburger Mary's to perform there just because it was something that was really important to her. Meanwhile, Razmik has like gone home to his family for Christmas dinner, and he's there for like a minute, but he has Alexandra's pamphlet in his hand. He remembers that Cindy's back in town. He really wants to see her. So Razmik like makes up this lie about having to keep working, which makes his mother-in-law suspicious. So Razmik is tooling around Hollywood trying to find them because he went to the bar and he saw that the performance was gone. He'd missed it. So he's like tooling around. Meanwhile, the mother-in-law goes to some other Armenian cabbie and it's like, do you know my son-in-law? Where is he? And then eventually this like narc is like, yeah, I know where he is. So this whole movie sort of culminates when finally Cindy has dragged Dina to see Chester. Alexandra is kind of like tagging along. And they have this big blowout. Finally, she like gets in Chester's face. Dina's not helping. She's like sort of like instigating the whole fight. Alexandra, she's just kicking back. And finally, Razmik shows up, trying to like get in the middle of it. And then this cabbie, who has absolutely ratted Razmik out, brings the mother-in-law there, and she begins to like hurl insults and whatever. She calls Razmik's wife, who comes down. So like this sort of blowout gets bigger and bigger until finally they're all kicked out of the donut time. Razmik and his family go back home to sort of like an uneasy silence. Meanwhile, Chester, Cindy, and Alexandra and Dina are like standing outside the donut time when Chester is finally like, wait, Alexandra didn't tell you that she and I hooked up? Because that happened. And obviously this is devastating to Cindy. She just kind of walks away. Alexandra tries to chase after her, but she's not listening to her. And then finally Cindy like tells her to just like fuck off, like just leave her alone. And she goes to like meet up with to pick up a client. As she goes to do this, they are in fact not clients. They are hateful individuals who like hurl slurs at her, throw a cup of piss on her, which is sort of Cindy's breaking point. But Alexandra is there to sort of help her launder her clothes at a laundromat. She lends her wig so she has something to wear. And the two women like sort of bond while they wait for the clothes to finish washing. They sort of like, I don't know, an apology is accepted in that moment. What do we think about Tangerine?
I really enjoyed this. This was a gap in my Sean Baker knowledge. I've seen Florida Project. I've seen Anora, of course. I've seen Takeout. This was like just a glaring thing. And I was like searching for Christmas movies, and this was, I don't know why the algorithm fed me this first. And I was just like, sure, let's pitch it. And then this is what we're doing. So, I think it's electric. I think, there's a tempo to this film that's completely undeniable. It's tight. The relationship between the two leads is fantastic. I do find it like maybe a little bit regrettable that they have to like diverge to their own side quests for a little bit, and we don't get to see them continue to interact because their interaction is just so amazing. There's a thing with Sean Baker movies where it's like I think there's an impulse, and I don't think that this is a bad impulse. I'm not like assigning a value judgment to it, but there's an impulse to like critique and try to like frame and discuss and unpack and use all those kind of academic words and so on and tactics to try to understand why Sean Baker might be so hell-bent on his idiosyncrasy of depicting very impoverished people. very impoverished, sex workers or a delivery person or whatever. But if I'm gonna table that, I think the portrayal of these individuals is not without like love and care. I think it's amazing that Resnick is a man that is that his name Resnick? Am I saying that right?
Rosnick.
Rosnick. Forgive me. Rosnick. I adore, the fact that he has a daughter and a wife, and he also wants to, suck off a prostitute or a sex worker rather in a car wash. There's a kind of matter of factness to sex work as a way of making money here. It's not glamorized because it's not glamorized, but it's also not shown to be something that's like I don't know, corrupting the soul or doing like a kind of like reefer madness thing. It's just kind of like a look into the joy and both like joy and at the end the kind of like profound like isolation, especially of the character that I end up like feeling like the worst for is Dinah in a way. This character that's like a supporting actress at best, but like seeing this kind of like this journey, this Christmas Eve journey through like cultural friction in Armenian family gatherings, and the boiling over tension between all of the various threads and the plot points at donut time at the end. I think it's a very and see I'm going to use the language. I think it's a very human and humanistic kind of portrait of really unusual to me. Of course, this is not a life I live. Like altogether like fascinating and exciting characters. And you could problematize it. You could be like, well, that's been all spun and turned into entertainment for you, and you get to watch it in the comfort of your living room. But like, I think the movie is fun, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, this is really good. When I saw it like 11 years ago, it was pretty mind-blowing. I had never really seen like a full movie shot on an iPhone or really engaged much with like experimental films that use like consumer grade equipment. And I thought like its use of like phone photography lended this kind of like authenticity to the story, much in the way that like Miami Vice 2006 use of intentionally digitally compressed images kind of lends to that world. I thought this kind of did a similar thing, but like it worked really well for like the story. Definitely, I think some of the novelty of that has lessened a bit over time as like more and more movies are shot with the iPhone, like all those Soderbergh movies or whatever. But the meat of this movie is really solid. I love these characters, and the actresses are so great, especially the woman who plays Cindy. She brings like such like delightful chaos to every scene she's in. And she really makes it seem like this character could at any point destroy anything in the frame at any time. Like she really has like a great kind of energy to her. As Craig was saying, the Sean Baker-ness is more noticeable now that I've seen more of his work. Also, like Craig mentioned, it is hyper fixated with like low income sex workers, which is eyebrow raising, but it ends up feeling far too humanist to feel like it crosses over into like exploitation. So ultimately, I like it quite a bit.
I echo what you all said. I mean, when I saw this movie 11 years ago, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's just, I just think it's impossible to not get caught up in this movie's like riptide. There's just so much forward momentum. sure, you know from the jump that we're on Cindy's quest for her to like savage another woman. But like at the same time, it's like it has like a sort of like bounciness to it that you can't help but just follow along with. I guess I sort of feel about this the way I feel about Honora, in that like I don't know about anything. I've never read an interview by Sean Baker. I don't have any interest in him as a person. It is interesting his fixation on certain topics. But like Honora, I don't know. It doesn't feel to me, and like, I don't know, people might disagree with me on this, and I think that's okay. But like but with both this and Honora, it doesn't feel to me that he's like expressing any sort of like ownership or judgment over, like sex workers in this sort of way. Like I was reading like reviews about how they kept calling him that Sean Baker makes movies for Johns, which might be true. That might be completely true.
Bit. Yeah.
Might be completely true. But like at the same time, I don't know. It seems that both movies kind of go out of their way to like avoid like judgments, or like avoid even making kind of like a statement. And to me, I think that's kind of what saves them. Like for both Honora and in Tangerine, it seems to me that like at the end of both movies, what I've witnessed is a series of events that have gone down. And they don't seem to be like, I mean, this is just my interpretation, but they don't seem to me to be like making any sort of like sweeping social commentary about like the deleterious effects of sex work, or like any sort of like bigger picture at all. It seems to me that I've watched lives, like keyhole glimpses into the lives of various women who are engaging in sex work. So for me, I don't know. They just end up being like eminently satisfying experiences in that way. I love the actresses in this. I think that, Cindy is absurd the way that she can capture the camera. But then like to counter, I think that the actress who's playing Alexandra has like remarkable comedic timing for somebody who hadn't been in a movie before. Like the way that she pauses and delivers the lines are just like, it's almost like giving like a sort of sitcom energy to it, the way that her like setups and payoffs kind of come. And I don't know, it really counters Cindy's more like, I think, naturalistic sort of like chaotic energy in a way that's like really satisfying to watch. And then the woman who plays Dina, who I think is like an actress, like as because this was, I think this was both the actresses behind Cindy and Alexandra's first role, but I think the woman who played Dina had roles before this, like even Sean Baker roles, I think. So like I think that they all like bounce off each other really well. Obviously, James Rancone, who, I mean, in a weird twist of fate, we just passed away a few days ago. He, has a long acting career, and it just seems like all of these, this meshing of like actor and like sort of new to acting actors like are, I don't know, just like meshing seamlessly to me. It's so fun to see LA like this. I last saw this when I lived in Chicago and had never set foot in California. And I've now seen this after 10 years in California. And it's still, it's very fun to see LA like this. I've been to some of these establishments, which is an added, like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen meme type moment where I'm like, I know there. I don't know. I think this movie bangs. I think this is I haven't seen the Florida Project. I haven't seen like all of Sean Baker's filmography, but like of the ones I've seen, this is my favorite.
I have a question for you, Josh. I have not spent much time in LA. Is this shot in like particularly sketchy neighborhoods, or were you able to like kind of tell where shit was going down in this?
No, this is like the middle of the city. So this is mostly Santa Monica Boulevard, which is obviously like a big passageway from East LA to West Hollywood to Santa Monica. And this is like right in the middle of the city. So that the Donut Time is now, I think it's like Danny Trejo's like gentrified donut restaurant.
Awesome.
So that Donut Time doesn't exist. I don't know how long it's been Danny Trejo's donut shop. But that shop, I think, is Santa Monica and Highland, which is like a major intersection, like right in the middle of Hollywood. Hollywood and Highland is like where like the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum is. It's like the corner of where like the Chinese theater, Grumman's Chinese Theater is. So that's just like two like big city blocks south of that. So it's like really like right in the middle of the city. When Cindy, there's a line where like right at the beginning where Cindy's trying to find Dina and she's like, I have to hike all the way to Vermont. So Vermont is like East LA. So that is actually, especially in like the shoes that Cindy's wearing, that's quite the hike. She has to walk very far across LA to get there. But no, I mean, like I wouldn't call it sketchy. I would say that's just like the middle of the city. Like it's like the regular, it's like regular city living. I mean, obviously they go to like motels that are probably not someplace anybody would want to stay. But like the streets themselves are completely in the middle of everything.
Sure. A difference that I noticed having been there is that I noticed they walk everywhere, which I kind of didn't realize that everyone drives everywhere in LA. So there's just scenes where they just walk for a very long time to get where they're going. That stood out more, I guess. It wasn't just some sort of like poetic transition. There might actually be something to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because especially for that length of time across the city, I mean, not that like when you're driving by, you would necessarily know how long somebody's been walking, right? But like it would be sort of unusual to walk from like Santa Monica and Highland all the way to Santa Monica and Vermont. That's a bit of a long way in LA. But another thing that I found with regards to like cars in this town is like this is probably like the absolute last moment in which you would have made like a movie about a cabbie in LA, because I remember I took my first Uber, I think with you, Jen, in Chicago, like the year this came out, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And so like, I think like it wasn't long after this or like while this was happening that of course, like, you know, the rideshare services would have come to LA and the sort of cabbie as like a public figure. Not that there aren't still cab drivers, of course, but like the sort of like the, I guess like the tent pole of like a cab driver feels sort of antiquated now after 11 years. Like that was strangely, I think the thing I found the most outdated sort of was just like, I don't know the last time I've thought about a cab driver, and then it makes me think about things like Taxi Driver or like the 1980s in general, which is funny because like it was very recently that like cabs were a central fixture of the town. But you know, all of my LA experience, because I moved right when rideshare services were a thing, all of my like LA experience has been with that as opposed to cabs. So it's just been it was a very like out of time sort of situation for the movie. Something that Craig said was really interesting because like I think the movie, obviously in terms of like, you know, the typical ladder of privilege in the world, a woman of color who's transgender and a sex worker is pretty near rock bottom. But like they have there's these great scenes, especially at the end where Dina, who is a white cisgender woman, you know, of course, still participating in sex work. She, Craig, you mentioned how like you ended up sort of feeling like the sorriest for her. And I that's something I didn't like notice the first time I saw this because like, I don't know, through it all, these women have each other, like Cindy and Alexandra have each other. Yeah. There is like a colorful cast of women who they know on the streets. There are people at various establishments around the blocks where they work that know them and are like amenable to them. But then like with Dina, you know, she is forced to hoof it from Santa Monica and Highland to Santa Monica and Vermont back to that motel. And she's just shut out. Like they you know, there is active work going inside. And like after this night she's had, she doesn't have shoes. She doesn't have a coat. You know, all she can do is just sit on the stoop. And like, she really, sort of is quite alone in those last moments of the movie. And so like, I don't know, there was just something because like the sort of reefer madness version of this movie would have had something very bad happen to the sex workers, right? Like there would have been a physical altercation, a murder or something. But like at the end of the day, even with their sort of like petty, like their breakups, their fights, their disagreements, like these women still had each other in this, this well-lit laundromat. And this other woman who was, ostensibly doing gender roles better, or performing her assigned roles better, doesn't have that same support system, and so you do kind of at the end of the movie feel she's the one who's truly alone, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's like her at kind of rock bottom. She's been dispossessed of almost everything, and I think that's in terms of like a way that a movie might tactically kind of communicate and solidify, like, the relationship through. Okay, I mean, the relationship between Alexandra and Cindy, it kind of solidifies that bond through showing you through via contrast that, like, Dina has been dispossessed of literally everything, including one of her shoes, and she's like, fuck it, and she just discards her other one. She's cold at the end. That it's we're seeing a day in Los Angeles, and night has fallen, and it's cold, and then like a little bit like above her is Razmik, and he's been. There's no telling, what is going to unfold with the, insane mother-in-law and his wife and the child, the kind of the fallout from the revelation that, Razmik's been visiting sex workers for quite some time, and is actually, quite close to them. Actually, sorry, this is a little bit of a diversion, but like all that to say is that, I think through contrast, we establish a very solid, like, how do I say this? Like an even more poignant portrait of what it's like to have suffered a really fucking rough day and have someone at the end of it, and what it's like to not. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the power of solidarity between two human beings, I think is communicated so deftly in that way. What was I gonna say? Oh, but Razmik's rapport and relationship with the sex workers is incredible. Like, I love how world buildy, just really simple things about how, when Alexandra first sees Razmik, she's like, oh my God, a sight for sore eyes. Thank God you're here. He's I mean, there's kind of how do I say this? I once knew in a tangential way someone who paid had sorry, I'm trying to find like politically correct ways of saying these things, and they end up sounding fucking goofy. But I knew someone through some other people that visited sex workers, all right? And there was a division between the people that I was close with that were like, oh, what an idiot, what a buffoon, what an idiot, like all the kind of like, oh, it's pathetic and so on and so forth. And then there's another contingent, and I guess I was sort of part of it, and I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, don't care. Second, I guess if you made me think about it, I'm not going to ascribe a value judgment to that, what he does, just because I'm not going to fucking do that. I don't think it's worth that. I don't think it's something that I feel particularly judgy about. And I mean, the movie, it kind of carries that. I mean, it shows that, like, of course, he's been like, doing the thing of this movie very often will I don't say it stops, but occasionally it'll just be like, fucking men. where the characters just be like, fucking men. He's doing the thing where he's transgressing the marital pact. He's in the mother-in-law's eyes, he's supposed to be and I guess in the social contract and the way that the things work in terms of gender roles, he's the breadwinner, and he should be upright, and he should provide. And it's like, no, he like, I mean, it shows you the kind of the fucking the bare reality, I think, of being a cab driver, which is like totally variable. You could have someone in your back seat that's like a normal old guy who's like, you know what? He's like, I'm gonna take the 101 or whatever, and then the old guy's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm and I love that moment of, it's like when identity, I think, is most like just in the straight up text, not in the subtext, not in the kind of what you could like do in a kind of post-mortem of the film. But the guy is talking about his identity. He's like, oh, Armenians, great, so on, whatever. Of course, the man in the backseat really wants to talk about himself, which is adorable. He's like, I'm Cherokee, or I think he says Cherokee or Chippewa. And the first thing the mother sees, the first thing my mother saw was a red bird. So I have a feminine name. I'm Mia. And of course, I think in a writing way, the whole like being a man, being a cis man, and having a feminine name also kind of scatters across the film, as does don't let me forget this, Toyland, the performance of the film, or the song Toyland, Boy and Girl Land, Toyland. There's so much in that fucking song and the choice of that song, but that idea of like. I'm gonna just say like variations of Razmik throughout this fucking thing, so just deal with it. Razmik is similar to this sort of like quick kind of like roulette wheel of like who clientele are. He's treated to like a guy that's seemingly kind of almost dying, but is a cool guy. And then he gets like the worst people on the fucking planet that are drunk in the middle of the day on Christmas Eve in that projectile vomit, like fucking Exorcist style, in the back of his cab. There's a brute kind of like disgust, I think, in the idea of like bodily fluids everywhere in the car. And like, Resmik's life is not necessarily his how do I say this? His work environment is not exactly conducive to a healthy state of mind. Like I think the movie does like a really deft job of not making how do I say this? Not like punching down at the fact that this is what they're doing to make a living, but that it is fraught, that it's like incredibly fraught, and then like through that, and like and again like through Resmik's engagement with the city of Los Angeles through its people, necessarily gets to like know them, and that kind of like there's a moment of disgust in the Donut Time showdown where. I forget if it's the wife or the mother-in-law. She's like, their names, and it's like,
yeah,
of course. Like human beings are human beings. They get to know each
right.
other, and then they get to know each other's names, right? Like, yeah. But yeah, like he is also kind of a tragic case at the end. Like his relationship with his wife and his daughter are left up in the air, and he's got this miserable figure in the mother-in-law that I guess lives with them, and that seems awful.
I don't know. I'm just really glad you said this, because I think it just really like shines a light on the end of the movie, because he's pretty much sitting the way that Dina's sitting. I mean, he has a roof over his head and he's in an armchair, but he's got that same sort of like leaning forward type posture. There's like a Christmas tree blinking behind him, but like like you said, is alone. Like he's looking at, it's almost like the domestic searchers, because like his wife and daughter are like in the room, but he isn't allowed into that room filmically in that moment. And you just sort of get the feeling like it's not necessarily And this seems like it runs counter to what I was saying earlier about not necessarily making judgments, but like it does seem that like, you know, Rosmic had a home that was full of like light and laughter and food. Of course, like, I mean, it might not have been his preferred company. Like, you know, his mother-in-law seems fairly unpleasant. But like, you know, there's like this sort of moment where like, you know, if you, I don't know, if in any circumstance, like sort of hurting the people that you love will make you be alone, and reconciling that will have you not be alone. And so like the movie sort of gives you these gradations of aloneness at the end of the movie, which I think is, you know, of course, in stark contrast to Cindy and Alexandra, who are decidedly very not alone.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I like that there's like kind of a beat at the donut thing. The donut scene is like a third of the movie. When his wife shows up and she's kind of like, yeah, it sucks, but he provides for us, so mind your own business. There's something like, did she kind of know that something was going on?
Right.
You know, like there kind of seemed to be like that DNA present as well of maybe the wife knows a little more than she lets on and is kind of ignoring it because there's not much else she can do.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, I think there's a strong undercurrent of like, I don't want to say gender roles feels too broad. Like she's like, because they're like in the picture of heterosexuality, right? Like like she stays at home, her husband provides for her and the daughter, and so there's this sort of implication as she's like, you know, shouting at her mother that like, well, he earns the money, he keeps a roof over her head, so I've decided to like turn an eye to his transgressions, which, you know, I mean, isn't fair to her, like if this isn't an agreed upon situation for them. But like, you know, she has found it to be her duty that, you know, she will continue to wife and mother while he like gallivants. And so like, yeah, there's like an interesting sort of, I don't know. Maybe I'm not even like forming cogent thoughts, but like, it just seems like there's like interesting portrayals of gender performance, even in like, you know, what the quote unquote seedy streets of Los Angeles. There's still like all of these like nuances and gender roles to play.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, like, and you know, I think when I wrapped the film and I was thinking about it immediately after, I'm like, oh, I think the stuff with the mother-in-law is a little uneven and unnecessary. But then I was like, oh, wait, if I'm understanding the mother-in-law as also representing, representing which she like wields like a hammer, is cultural force, right? You know, like she is emblematic of our, and of course the movie doesn't engage with this, and I certainly don't pretend to know anything about Armenian culture, but like through little indicators, like when he leaves, she's like, who's gonna pour us our cognac? And it's like, I wonder who will. You have fucking hands. But of course, that's me watching the film and being frustrated, right? But like, there's a cultural force being brought to bear on Razmik, and you know, it really like you know, where I think the two people that have, you know, transplanted themselves into America have kind of like come to some sort of equilibrium with what it's going to entail to live there. Which which includes Razmik's clear joy and love and affection for the sex workers that he encounters on a day-to-day, and the very clear affection that they have for him in return. Yeah, he's not fond of cis women. What are you tucking it? Which is like reverse transpanic. You know,
well, like, I mean, it's maximum chaser energy.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, exactly. Right,
like an elite chaser.
Elite chaser. He's become like the ultimate. He's become the platonic ideal of a chaser. and that's what helps keep the equilibrium up, right? Like that's what keeps the marriage intact and the child raised and fed. As like, as fucked up as that could be like framed, the mother-in-law comes in as this force that has not yet acclimated to what it's like or how a life might be lived, and is ready to just like burn it all down because she sees it, through that lens of impropriety and roles and dignity or whatever, is coming through with this like conservative cultural force. That's like ultimately I feel like what he's like victim to, or it's kind of like a loaded word, but like victim to is like a conservative cultural force of his Armenianness coming to like roost or something.
Well, and I think you got it in one there, because like, it's what you said was so true. I think I want to modify what I said, that like the Razmik's wife has sort of like adapted her role to fit this Los Angeles ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Like with her specific husband and her specific circumstances, she has sort of bent her expectations to meet them. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The mother-in-law figure is like kind of, she's almost, because I don't even know that we know her name. We might get her name, but like she's almost more than a character. She's like just like a reminder of like external like gender hegemony, external expectations of like of marriage, of men, of women. And so she is applying that across the board to a landscape that is just adapted to survive or adapted to suit itself. But she's applying this sort of, very traditional kind of role on top of it. And of course, nothing fits.
Right.
Like things are too bespoke here.
I like the nuance that kind of gives Razmik. I don't know. He's ultimately like kind of like one of the protagonists of the story, but it's like more complicated because like he is kind of like a friend to these sex workers at the expense of his like role as like a husband and father.
Well, yeah, and you almost get the sense. I mean, it's clear that he loves his daughter, and it seems that he has affection for his wife too. Like he's not cruel or dismissive to her per se, but like you almost get the sense that if Razmik wasn't bound by this sort of like gender roles expected of men, like to have a family, to support the family, to have children, that kind of thing. Perhaps he would be in a relationship with one of these women, like he would be like, perhaps not wifed up. This isn't a John fantasy movie, but like he would at least be unattached to be able to be with them to his heart's content.
Yeah, that's far more of like kind of the vibe I got from like the last scene of the movie, his last kind of story beat in the movie. When they go, like you were mentioning, like the searchers, and like I saw him more as like a man trapped inside of himself in that moment, kind of like unable or unwilling to do the thing that might make him happy.
Yeah.
Bound internally, right? Because he again, like he has a like. In the thing that perhaps is it's already done. Like the he's already in. He has a child. He has a wife. Which is, I mean, how often do we have to see cases of men or women that are in marriages, and then they're like, decades drag on, they're like, I am gay. Right. So it's like he's in this thing, and like he, I think that the pull to be a father and a provider, plus like something that is very clearly driven, and how do I say this, like that it's not just like pure like libidinal, like, cause like if he was just like libidinally interested, he wouldn't have personal like relationships,
right?
I guess. There's clearly something like maybe even amorous happening here too, right? But like, he's been snared, but like it's a slow snare. It's like a slow cultural snare that he kind of a role that descended on him before he could, realize that it was, or something.
Yeah. I wasn't projecting at all.
Me neither. I never do that.
Famously on this show, we've never done that.
No, never.
Not even once.
Well, do we have any final thoughts about Tangerine? I feel like there's so much I haven't talked about.
Yeah, I really wanted to shout out the soundtrack in it.
Oh, yeah.
So what Sean Baker did is that he kind of just like found beats on SoundCloud that he liked from like indie music producers and licensed those, and that's such a better way of doing like getting music maybe for like on a budget than like using like an AI generated thing.
God,
oh my god!
You could never get this much personality from an AI. you had to find the weirdos making trap beats on SoundCloud, and it adds like so much to the movie.
And I think the proof is in the pudding, because like the soundtrack is one of the things, like I would say the biggest criticism I saw about this movie in my research is that like, it's movies for Johns, right? Or like it's like exploitative of trans women of color doing sex work. But like the second biggest criticism is that the music is bad. And, well, but the point is that like Baker made a choice, right? Like he made an artistic decision. Personally, I think the music is pretty kinetic. It's music that has like an excellent beat, importantly, for Cindy to walk to. Because all of these like needle drops are when Cindy is like stomping across LA, and I think that they chose ones with a great like walking tempo to them. So I also like the music. I think it adds an interesting texture to the movie, but as opposed to something that would have been more palatable, I mean, in the most extreme, like if for a low budget movie to like generate AI tracks, but this is a creative choice, and a creative choice will polarize people, and that's what makes art interesting.
Honestly, some of like the needle drops, I think it was the combination of like jarring music with this sort of like perpetual golden hour that takes up like the first hour of the movie. It was kind of given like Fooly Cooley in a few places of like like hard needle drops that weren't really written with the show in mind. There's a similar dynamic happening between image and music in both of those things.
I see what you mean. I don't want to put too fine a point on what you're saying, but like they both exist in, I almost want to say like a pocket dimension. Like time doesn't seem to exist in like Fooly Cooley, and I would argue it doesn't really seem to exist in Tangerine either. Like the day, the Christmas Eve that they're in feels like a synecdoche for like all days.
Yes. Yeah. It feels like several months worth of things all happen on one day.
Yeah. And I think like you're saying that because there is this extremely long stretch of this beautiful golden hour, that I think we associate with briefness, and then to elongate that time so long just really feels like it's it's out of time somehow. That's an interesting comparison I wouldn't have thought of, but I see what you mean about Fooly Cooley. I think overall I like Baker's filmmaking in this. There was like one moment I thought was quite odd. I don't know why he did it this way. There's a scene where it's when the other cab driver is driving the mother-in-law to donut time, and they're like talking in the cab, and it like jump cuts like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
and I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, why? Like, just let the. Do you think that was just like a technical necessity? Like they just didn't have they didn't have it all in one take, and they didn't want to do like a new setup. They just it stuck out.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of the other filmmaking is really seamless.
Yeah, I mean, like not only does it, how do I say this? It stands out because we're seeing into the cab from the front. With Razmik's car, we're often seeing like through the back, or we're looking like down at the characters or that are in the back seat. It's like this like static shot, and then yeah, you're right. It just does this like click, click, click thing. And it's like, this isn't Godard, which it feels like what we do when we edit the show, which is we cut out like the little spaces in between, or like when I involuntarily break into song or whatever that needs to, like we need to like clean it up. That's what it felt like. It felt like a technical. We need to tighten this, so we're gonna go bam, bam, bam with these jump cuts. I'd forgotten about that, but I also did not like that. It doesn't gel, I think, with the rest of the film.
Yeah, because the rest of it's so smooth, and like that just felt like they didn't have like the coverage or something, so they had to make do. I don't know.
I could see it being kind of a lesser successful attempt at Godard editing.
Yeah. I mean,
breathless posting.
But with this like iPhone 5, format, it feels like something out of necessity rather than choice, like stylistic choice. And that's like the only, like, because I think this movie looks fantastic. Like it's,
gorgeous.
The wide, and it reminds me of the end of The Fabelmans when is it John Ford yells at young Spielberg and is like, if the frame is up here, then you're good. If the horizon line is at the bottom, you're good. If it's in the middle, go fucking kill yourself. Like we're seeing like so much of the LA sky, and we're often like I feel like the camera's like at the sternum or like even at the hip sometimes, so we're like looking up at things, which helps in some way like aggrandize or like make large the characters in the frame. It's really brilliant and beautiful, and there are even moments where like a sudden burst of like sunlight coming around a building will completely like occlude, like just like it's totally clipped. It's like it's just pure white takes over like half the frame, but it works. It really is stupendously shot.
Yeah. Do either of you have any final thoughts about Tangerine? Incredible title for the movie. It's evocative without being literal. The movie's kind of tangerine colored.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Oh, I love the last scene of them in the laundromat.
Yeah, and that's what I think about, like, that's tying back into what I said earlier, like right at the beginning about like comparing like this and Anora. I don't know. It feels like there is attention paid to these small like gestures of these small kindnesses. Like I think we all really liked the end of Anora as well, when she hooks up with that Russian guy. Because there's just like a vulnerability to it, and there's a vulnerability here too, but there's also like these small kindnesses shared between women that is like touching. It's heartwarming. Sounds like I'm talking about like a pet commercial, but like it heartens you to see. I don't know, and I think those small touches are kind of this effect when people are talking about Sean Baker. He might make John movies, but I think he's got a great eye for these little human to human touches, these little interactions. I gave this 4.5 stars.
Yeah, no, solid 4 stars. I think that this is a really exciting and electric film, and maybe one of his most like, if I can say this, one of his most like upbeat or something.
Yeah.
And outright funny.
4 stars for me as well.
Well, folks, that is a wrap on SwimFans 2025. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for being, thank you for like putting us in your ears every so often. We appreciate it. I'm sure we'll have a whole bunch of fun and equally torturous movies in equal measure, fun and miserable movies in equal measure in 2026. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. So that is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. Please rate, please review, please subscribe, please, comment, interact. You can, if you want to ask a question for the show or you want to send in a recommendation, you can do that at swimfanspodcast@gmail.com. You can do that like in Instagram DMs. You can do that on like the Spotify episodes. Get in touch with us. Let us know what you think about the episodes. Let us know if you have something you think we should cover. Let us know, if you loved my song. Let me know. So, you can, we have a Patreon as well. So that is patreon.com/swimfans. For as low as $1 a month, you can get access to all of the back content there. Thank you to all of our doves, for another year of dovery. We hope to, continue to see you in the new year. And you can find the show on all the social medias, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, Instagram, user SwimFansPod. So give us a follow over there. I am on those same spots, user Amons, AMONNS. I haven't watched anything that isn't for the podcast, and I'm like this close to talking about Keeper again. I'm still mad about Keeper. We've been watching Pluribus in the meantime, though. You guys on that one? It's the Breaking Bad guy.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes, and I love the Body Snatchers format. I really do. It actually really upset me. I think I'm gonna have to like I don't know. There's something very unique about the setup that completely strands the lead character. That really got under my skin. I'm gonna have to come back to it, but I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I would like to get body snatched. I'm on the side of the hive. Take me immediately.
Yeah, they're the most. That's the most compelling body snatch. Everyone's seems fine. It seems okay. I haven't gotten. Again, I'm only 2 episodes in. Maybe they're not okay, but they're pretty friendly and they're doing their best.
You definitely have to keep watching. But I don't know how okay they are, but definitely I'm still on the side of getting body snatched. They have yet to convince me that I don't want to be part of the hive. Jennifer,
you can follow me on Blue Sky, Diatron5.swimfanspod.com. I am on Letterboxd, Diatron. Fuck did I watch? I rewatched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I didn't want to think.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to think. And it was 90 minutes.
Amen.
5 stars. Craig.
You can find me at Craig Neeson on Instagram and Letterboxd, CraigNeeson.com. Actually, on Josh's Plex, I watched a despecialized Star Wars.
Which
is I'm taking all the George Lucas CGI bullshit out. Yeah, I mean, I used to really love Star Wars when I was a kid. I think everything started to fall apart once Attack of the Clones came out, and I didn't even really have the literacy or something to be like, this is not good, or something. But yeah, I think the magic faded pretty quick as I grew up. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that I find charming, like R2-D2 in particular. I'm a big fan of that little guy. But yeah, I think it's a little threadbare. I don't know. I didn't experience a wave. I had this really strong impulse to watch it, but then once I was watching it, there was nothing cathartic or interesting about it.
Sure.
And it felt really hollow. And I think that's a product of me having grown up with it and then it having faded, and it clearly still, again, I haven't seen these things at all. I've seen the first reboot where the grumpy guy kills Han Solo, who's his dad or whatever. And I thought that was really fucking tedious.
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. Yeah. And like the Emperor is alive again, or something for some fucking reason. Yeah, I don't know. That was a whole wash. It's just like the magic, any kind of magic it had, has been stripped out. You know, like sorry, I'm gonna go on for just a little bit longer. I used to. So I think it's Return of the Jedi, right, where Princess Leia has been enslaved by Jabba the Hutt. Jabba has a little wormy little tiny creature that just like laughs at things. It goes, it's just like a little rat creature. I used to have a stuffed animal of that rat creature, and I loved it. I loved it so much. That little evil little because Jabba's big and he's like a little rat and he's evil. And I loved him. I love that little stuffed animal. But yeah, things change. You grow up, I guess.
The first one is so fucking 1970s too. I like
completely
going back to it. It's remarkable how kind of dated the visuals are. I get why he wants a special edition that thing.
Yeah, even like the thing that I couldn't get over was Mark Hamill's hair. His hair. It's so like let's go surfing, and like it was really distracting. It was very, very surfer movie, and I just couldn't like. There's just like there are little period like details that like in the gestalt like overwhelmed kind of anything that I was trying to get out of like the, you know, like the Jawas and the sand and you know they're selling the droids and all the prison on the Death Star that has a bunch of lasers, and somehow Chewbacca's not getting shot by all the lasers, and they're doing a good job of taking out the lasers before Chewbacca gets shot by the lasers. And it's like, whoa, but that's a lot of lasers. Those aren't very good lasers. Yeah, I don't know. It's just time I don't think has been friendly to it.
It's got that Timothy Treadwell haircut.
Craig, I have terrible news for you. We're pivoting to a Star Wars fan podcast in 2026.
Joke's on you, bitch.
Star fans.
Yeah, every podcast needs one dissenting voice. So, you know, you two can clutch your lightsabers while we're recording. I will clap back. I will have epic.
Tune in next week when we watch Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, we're a cabinet of rivals now. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.